Be sure to bring your florals before watching this review. Also, for all the drama this movie got, it's incredibly mid, and let me tell you about it so you don't have to watch it. I'm in Salad and I saw It Ends With Us. It is directed by Justin Baldoni, written by Christy Hall. If you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This was requested by a Patreon. If you'd like to fast track movie review, patreon.com/ASEPresents. On with the review. This movie follows Lily Bloom. Her father recently passed away. She's asked to deliver a eulogy. Immediately, she goes up to the microphone and has nothing to say. She has this list that says 5 bullet points, but nothing's written on them. So it's to imply that she has nothing good to say about her father. So why do the eulogy in the first place? You could have just had somebody else do it. But instead, she's shown to be an incredibly selfish, terrible person right off the bat. Through dialogue talking to her mother, it's shown that he was a very abusive man, but you don't have 5 things to say? Nice? At all? Nothing at all? Oh, his grilled chicken was really good. He could really tenderize the meat. Not one thing. Instead, she opts to leave very dramatically. This shows that she's self-centered, wants attention, will do anything for the attention, including not providing a eulogy for her father. I don't know, ask the father's coworker or something. There has to be one person who could talk nice about the father. But no, everything has to be about her. This is the first 5 minutes of the movie. I have so much to say about this movie. So buckle your seatbelts. We're going on a drive. Now she's on top of an apartment complex. She's trying to wind down. She's trying to cool off. And then a man comes in, kicking the chairs. I'm angry, right? Very startled, but obviously this guy's letting off some steam, so I'm like, okay, alright, you like to kick chairs around. Cool. Of course, Lily Bloom and this guy hit it off. He's a neurosurgeon. This is a very busy man. He's probably here for 2 minutes. Oh, yes, he is. He gets called for an emergency surgery. It's time for him to do a surgery. And he's angry for a very reasonable reason. But the movie presents it as if it's kind of the worst thing ever. It's a major red flag. He wasn't able to save a kid, and now he's upset. Wow. Terrible person for kicking a chair because you couldn't save a kid at work. By the way, this is probably one of the few jobs where there are actual lives on the line, and if you mess up, you're responsible for somebody's life. So yeah, it's pretty heavy. I would respond very reasonably. I'll be like, oh, okay, sorry, you kicked the chair and it startled me, but I'm nice to meet you. I'm good to hear that you're a nice guy who's reasonable, who has some sort of skills in life. Cool. Obviously, that's why he and Bloom hit it off so well, is because he's a dude with skills and he has career pursuit already. She's like, oh my goodness, he left. Ooh, I get to dream about him because, you know, he has a job, he has a life. So obviously the absence makes the heart grow fonder. She's like, oh yeah, I'm so happy. I want to be with this man forever. It's also funny, they haven't seen each other for months. Lily Bloom's opening a flower shop. Chick comes in, they become best friends. Oh, I need work. They gave work. And that turns out to be the guy's brother, the neurosurgeon. His name is Ryle. Can you see who's supposed to be the abuser in this relationship? Ryle him up? Like, that's a verb. You chose a verb for a person's name. I know this is based off of a book, so I heard this name for the first time. I was like, this is so on the nose. This is not subtle at all. This is moving very fast though, for sure. They're having overnight talking sessions without sex, alright, and then they agree to meet each other's parents pretty fast. They eventually do ended up having sex and getting into a relationship, and you know, it's all whatever, it's alright. I personally am not a huge fan of the romantic stuff. I like the tragedies. I like it when things turn sour, and I'm waiting watching this movie, when are things going to turn sour? Let me tell you the things that this movie presents as turning sour and why I'm like, I don't understand why this is being presented as being terrible badness. When this movie first presents the scene of Ryle and Lily Bloom, we're having a good time, we're on the island, we're kissu, there's food in the oven, whatever, and he's like, oh no, it's burning. He doesn't grab one of those pot holders. It's already burnt, dude, so you might as well just take the extra time it takes to grab the pot holders and take it out of the oven. But no, like an idiot, he grabs it barehandedly. I'm like, why would you do that? Are you stupid? You don't have any sense of urgency because it's already burning, so why would you have any sort of sense of urgency if you can already smell it? Oh, I gotta get it out of the oven. If it's burnt, it's already cooked, dude. It's already, like, well overcooked. If you can smell it burning, you've already ruined it, so take your time. Like an idiot. It's too hot. Like, grabs with his bare hands. Oh, it's too hot. She comes over. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Here you go. And he's, like, reactionary to the hotness. Yeah, right? Because it's too hot. And accidentally hits her. And it's like, oh, no. This is a terrible thing. But I'm like, no, this seems to be just... She's reacting to the fact that he stupidly reached in and grabbed the thing with his hands, whatever the tray is, the pan, whatever, grabbed it with his bare hands and was reflexively like, ouch, obviously, and accidentally hits her. That's not domestic abuse. And then he's like, ow, I'm hurting, I'm sorry, I'm hurting, whatever. And she's like, are you okay? And he's like, no, I have to leave. And he's like, leaving, right? And instead of being like, okay, he has to leave, then she goes after him, breaking boundaries, so she's effectively being the abusive one right here. Instead of respecting his boundaries, he's running down the stairs, she's running down the stairs. And this, by the way, the movie shows this, like, the first time it shows what I'm describing exactly. Like, he's like, just leave me alone. And she's like, no, right? And, like, she's, like, running in front of him, and then, like, she falls down the stairs. And the first time it doesn't show him pushing down the stairs at all. And the reason why I'm being so clear about this is because the rest of the movie, it presents it like, he pushed her. And the way that it's written is that scene was supposed to be her being pushed by him. But with my own eyes, I didn't see it like that. So I just think that they should have really retook that scene if you wanted it to convey that he pushed her. It wasn't retaken, so I was confused for the rest of the movie when they're like, oh, but you pushed me down the stairs. Like, that was the thing that was the big abuse thing, by the way. This is the big abuse thing that happened in the movie, are two accidents that are then later what it seemed to be retcon from my reviewer point of view, but definitely not in, like, the writing. Obviously, it's written that he pushed her, but it wasn't performed that way. So because it wasn't performed that way, as an audience member, I view it as, it was retconned that later on it was supposed to be pushed, but he didn't actually push her. So you have to beat it in. Oh, yeah, he pushed her down the stairs. You have to keep saying that in order for me to, like, believe it. But I remember that scene. Nothing left my mind. I'm not just magically forgetting what happened. No, I saw that with my own eyes. I was like, I don't agree. And then when she's remembering upon what happened that night, she's remembering as he's like, you shut up, you stupid woman, like intentionally hitting her. And then, like, she's remembering it again, and she's remembering that he pushed her down. So I'm just thinking, okay, so the movie is framing it in such a way that this lady is the bad guy because she's reframing some stuff that were accidents in the movie as actual cases of abuse, and then starts remembering everything else, like sweet memory that they had, anything that was innocent. She's reframing it as abuse now that she's looking at him in a different light and is mad at him. And this is the point of the movie. I'm like, man, I hate this lady. And there are some things that you could be like, yeah, dude, why'd you do that? You reacted in a overreacty way. But the way that she is framing everything else after the fact, and how she's reacting to everything is just like weird. I don't like it, and it's honestly, it's not a good domestic abuse movie, especially since I feel like the message of this movie is quite mixed. It's definitely, oh, both of you guys were the abusers. Both of you guys were being abusive, actually. So nobody's in the right. Versus if you're going to have like a domestic abuse movie, I feel like you should have some sort of clear-cut moral stance like, hey, this is what is definitively abuse. Yeah, you can add some gray in there. Like, you can be like, oh, it's the reason why this guy does this thing is because of this thing that happened to him in the past. But, like, then you gotta present it like, but it's not an excuse to hurt people. Hurt people. And when you hurt people, it just continues to cycle. Abuse, all that fun jazz. You could have had some sort of moral, you could have had something, but watching this movie and just leaving it so unresolved. I felt so unresolved emotionally. I was just like, I don't know what the message is here. She's also kind of terrible because she accepts advances from other guys. Oh, here's my phone number. Here you go. And then she just leaves the phone number in her phone case instead of, I don't know, throwing it away or something. Like, she is perpetuating her own treatment. I'm not going to say, oh, domestic abusers, the people who are domestically abused, they cause their own abuse. If this woman, what she's doing is sending so many mixed signals, and it's like generally untrustworthy of a partner to be. You're showing a lot of untrustworthiness when you're doing these types of behaviors, like, oh, I have this man's phone number and I kept it in my phone for several months, by the way, several months between these interactions. And she's like, oh yeah, oh, I'm sorry, she doesn't give any good reason. She's not like, oh, I forgot that I had that in there. She doesn't say that. The way she reacts is like, well, I was just trying to, like, have a way out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the kind of deal, and of course he's mad, and he's not even hitting her. Whenever he's mad, he's not hitting her. He's, like, kicking stuff. Stuff like that. Oh, God. I was watching this movie, I was like, man, I can really tell that either A, Blake Lively has never been in an abusive relationship, or B, she's an abusive person. And I just read that through her performance. I also just didn't believe her as the character. She's not a good enough actress. She's also not a good enough actress to pretend that she likes Justin Baldoni. Man, I'm not very good at pronouncing his name. It just looked weird. It felt awkward. It felt stiff. And it felt very disjointed watching this movie. I didn't enjoy it particularly. Not that I would enjoy a domestic violence movie, but this had no emotions at all. There was no emotionality to it whatsoever. It was clear that Justin Baldoni had some sort of vision. He had some sort of emotions to portray, which is why his character hits the hardest out of everybody in this movie. He hits the hardest. And then Blake Lively's character, she's just kind of there to buff up her wardrobe, buy a bunch of floral stuff so she has it forever and she can wear it forever. And, I don't know, just try to take over the production. Oh yeah, I saw videos of her trying to take over the directing role that Justin was doing, and she's like, how about we go over here? What if we're like talking all the entire time? I'm like, lady, shut up. God, this movie is riddled with so many production errors that are just so flagrant, so prominent in the final product, and overall just makes it incredibly mid. Oh yeah, by the way, they have a kid together, and amidst all of this, she decides to have the kid alone and be a single mother and be another cancer upon society. Single motherhood. Look, masculinity itself is not toxic, but the lack of it is what makes it toxic. Masculinity is the lack of masculinity, and she is raising her daughter without a father figure, and so that daughter's not going to have any sort of respect for the male household member at all, so she's gonna be like, oh, I'm just disrespecting men all the time. I'm big men disrespecter. I hate all men. That's what she's raising in that child. She could have just been with Ryle and dealt with him being a little bit yelly, a little bit kicky. From what this movie shows, he didn't actually hit her, and it's just retconning. Oh, actually, I did get hit by him. But no, that was you misremembering what happened in the past. I only remember her as Blake Lively. Lily Bloom. What a freaking terrible name. Lily Blossom Bloom. Flowers. Bring your flowers. What a god-awful movie. God, this is riddled with so many mistakes, and I just ended up not feeling bad for Lily Bloom and actually hating her character and wishing she was in an actual abusive relationship so she can just not speak like the way that she is. That's not the relationship I want with a main character of a domestic violence movie, is to want them to be abused more. That's how bad of a job you guys did. Avoid watching it. Just laugh at Blake Lively and how terrible of a person she is. I didn't really know who she was before watching this movie, and then the drama around this movie and watching this movie, I'm like, man, I hate her. Oh god, I hate her so much. So I'm gonna give this one it's a 4 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one on the platform really likes that $20 deals at patreon.com/ASEPresents for one movie review per 1 month. If I haven't reviewed it on the channel, there's a chance I haven't even seen it at all. So get them Patreon requests in for movie reviews for me to watch and review, all that fun jazz. And you can also help support the daily grindiness by going to theautisticboobs.com. So go here. And until next time in Salad Saw, I'll see you later, my side croutons and bacon bits.